Right, let's get into this. We're going to make a, I think we'll make a maze game. This is, and then having it going from kind of one screen to another. So I'll set this up. Obviously don't want the cat as our main sprite, as much as we love the cat. And then the backdrops, what we're going to do is we'll obviously paint and set ourselves up backdrop screens. So I can start with backdrop screen 1, just get our bucket and we'll just give it a plain colour to start. So, I don't know. We'll do that. No, it won't do that because it is on vector mode. It won't want to fill it, so we have to draw a square, which I'll take the colour out. There you go. So I'll draw a square and then I'll stretch it. Right. There we go. So we've got a green background. Then obviously with this, then we can start drawing in our walls. Sorry, still highlighted. Hopefully see if I was unselected. There we go. Okay, so I managed to unselect. I didn't want to have selected. So I'm going to assume our character's going to start kind of in this bottom corner. And I'm just going to make a pretty average maze, because obviously I'm just kind of going with this live. You could probably find other maps, to be fair. Just as an image, so we might do that for one of the other maps perhaps, and we'll see how that goes. Sometimes you spend that much time fixing the images that you end up, you might as well draw it yourself anyway. Right, okay. There we go. So there's that. We'll have our starting point, and then what I'll do is I can have an endpoint sprite as a separate sprite if I wish. But this is fine. Okay, cool. So I'll say this, and I'll just call this backdrop 1 is fine. I can so say maze 1 up in here in the name. Maze 2. Okay, so we'll start with, I don't know, who cares? Different colour or sub-description. Yeah, I should be a bed. Right, anyway, so we've got a maze 2. I'm going to keep the wall colours all the same, mainly being because I'm going to use that when touching colour jazz. Then death to you and all that. Okay, so click that, then click that, then click this, then do that. Aha, see, doesn't do it. Right, so I'll assume we're always starting in this bottom corner. Now, where our endpoint ends up being doesn't always need to be the same. Right. I'm attempting to try and make a clever maze, but I highly doubt this is going to work off the cuff like this, but hey, miracles do happen sometimes. So you get the idea. Anyway, right, okay. I know, super tricky. Right, so we've got map 1 and 2 with a little overlapping clunky bits which will get caught on and make it annoying to have our character move around in. But you get the idea. So then what obviously we're going to do is we're going to create our player. I'm going to choose a really sweet sprite, which is ball. Right, so if I go into backdrop costumes, backdrop, I shall call this maze 2 because consistency. Maze 1, righto. Then what can we call this? Player. Then let's. Okay, so when green flag clicked, let's just actually set the size to something smaller. Set size to. Oh, okay, actually this. Yeah, let's say set size to. Let's say 50%. Run. Right, that looks like a good size. Right. Now that we've got that, the other thing is we obviously want this to be our start location. So then let's use this motion. Go to this. This is already set up to wherever they currently are at, as you can see. Then the rest of it's pretty straightforward, which is that forever F pressing key, blah 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 blah. If motion, sensing, touching key, up arrow key. Right, so I'm going to kind of get it to drive a little bit like a car. Sorry, I'm just thinking about orientation, but that's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Right, now that the birds have been moved. Okay, so we're going to have motion, move 10 steps. Then I said like we'll run the movement slightly differently. Okay, let's say right arrow key, then we want to turn, that looks right. 15 degrees is actually quite aggressive. So 5 sounds good to me. Duplicate. Then obviously left. Now I could change the arrow out, but who can be bothered? Right, so let's give it a wee test. So I should be able to go forwards. Whoa, 10 is a little bit fast. So there you go. This is the great thing about having a ball. Oh, there's no back. There's no back. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? I don't know. So obviously, what our player needs, because this is what I was wondering about before, is it needs a line. Why does it need a line? Because otherwise, it's confusing to know where you're aimed. That line was useless. Let's make the line thicker. Let's make the colour of the line. Let's make it red. Right. That should be better. Now I'm going to go start. Hit there. So there you go. There's another thing we picked up with the start, is it hasn't got a start direction. Which is then on the code, set point direction 90 to start. So now I can kind of see what I'm doing. See, because it's just easy to figure out where you're going. So that line makes all the difference. Right. So obviously our issue is now that we need to get this when touching these black squares. Is it instant death? Is it that we bounce off the edge? Is it run on a timer? So I'll kind of run a few different options, and you guys can kind of pick your bits, how you want to do it. So what I'll do is I'll start with the timer, because nothing like a bit of time pressure. Hopefully this doesn't have an issue with making a variable. Timer. Time. Yes, it worked. Right, okay, so made a variable called time, and I'm going to start with a set amount of time. So I'm going to say start with time of, I don't know, like 15 seconds, which is skadoodles. And then what I'm going to do is events. When green flag clicked, I'll show you how to make a timer that counts down. Obviously counting up's the same thing. I'm just separating it out because this is all to really do with the timer, so I might as well just keep it all together just for practicality's sake. Then forever, control, wait 1 second, here it comes, variables, change, timer, oops missed, timer by -1. Now when we start, we suddenly get this like, oh no, oh, quick. So, because of timer, we can do things such as if you touch the edge, you bounce back and then you lose 2 seconds. That could be a thing as well. So I think I'll kind of run with that. So let's do that. Let's not go into the negatives too far. Right, okay, so then this requires for another if. If I'm pressing the up arrow key and doing this, then thing happens. Oops. If sensing touching color, then you click the color, then you click the okay, actually you just go drag it straight to black. But you can click the eyedropper, then go across. Excuse me. But obviously that should be fine. Then I'm going to say move -10 because I want to bounce back, quite obviously. And then I'm going to say change time, duplicate. By, I don't know, -3 seconds even. No, -2. Now, what can be an issue is when you have your player right up against the wall and then it rotates into a corner or something. Do you want to bounce that rotation back? Because my thing is perfectly round, then it's not going to be an issue. But for other shapes, it can be. So, I'm going to go duplicate, chuck it in here. I'll make another costume on the sprite to get maybe test it with so we can have a look. Obviously, duplicate. It's the rotation we're after this time. So I'm going to say like -5, -8. Actually, I'll just get rid of this and just then go duplicate that one. So much faster. Then obviously there's just +8. Right. Now if I go into the costumes, I'll add one more costume. I'll just do this, draw a square over this one and change its colour. Yeah, let's make it red as well. Sweet. I'll draw a line, which I'll make white. Just not anywhere near the middle, which is making me kind of a little bit twitchy about. Right, close enough. Okay, so now we're starting, so I should be able to kind of go like this. I get that. The idea is that if I'm up on an edge, I can't back up into it. I can't like. Let's try and just draw myself close enough. So I've kind of got this issue, so that's fine. So like it's doing its thing. Because I can't go backwards, I think it saves my issue of like backing up into it and then what have you. So that has solved a good chunk of problems. But yeah, that kind of code there is clean enough to sort all your other issues out. I'll grab another sprite, which you know that has to be the end goal, is the bananas, right? Which are massive. Events, when green flag clicked, motion, go to location. Sorry, looks set size to percentage of 50%. I'm guessing 50%. Okay. I'm going to make a variable for our levels now. So green, yeah, okay, fine. Right, I'm going to make a variable for our levels because we need to control that. So make a variable level. Right, so let's do it bananas. Right, okay. Set level to 1. Then I can make an if and forever if actually I need an and. Because what I'm going to say in here is like if you're touching the banana and is equal to level 1. No, I shouldn't even need to do that. Or I can. I'll do that because I'll show you. I'll explain why. Because my start location may not always be the same. There you go. But however, this. Oh no, actually, my banana location might not always be the same. Okay, so because it won't be, but start location for this thing may not also be the same. So there we go. Righto. So if sensing touching. Okay, is equal to, sorry, I'm just kind of half in my head. If level is equal to 1 and sensing touching player then what we're going to do is variables set level to 2. We can do like that, set level to 2. Motion go to, let's just get rid of that and just go to, it was over here somewhere, I'm guessing around there. Right, go to this, I'll amend this obviously, and then I can also say looks, switch to backdrop maze 1, switch to backdrop maze 2. Right, so when I hit start, this happens. So let's kind of run the game quickly. Don't worry about the edge at least. So there, it's jumped to there. That's great. I'll move my bananas to over there. This is kind of an okay start location to be totally fair, so I could leave it like that. But I'll poke it to back over here just for argument's sake. Right, stop. So I want to change the location slightly. Motion. Go to that location. Go to switch to backdrop 2. I might say variables change time by, I don't know, might add on 20 seconds because you know this map's intense. It just involves a little bit more being careful. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a broadcast. I can do other things, but basically what I'm going to also say in here is I want my player. I'll just check if there's another thing. So I basically want to tell my player at the same time to go to a certain location, and I can't really say motion set because it's all to do with the banana, so it'll be moving my banana. I can't tell something else to do that. So right, what I'm going to do is I will make a broadcast. Broadcast, there it is there. Broadcast message 1. Message 1. We'll do a drop down, say new message, and I'll call it level 2. Right, then I'll go on this one here. When I receive level 2, so broadcast is basically like out. Someone just basically being out in a kind of open space and they're just shouting out a name. And essentially, so if they yell out, Dave, then you always have half a dozen nosy people turn around. But effectively there should be someone in the group, if there is a Dave in the group, whose brain's kind of programmed to, if you hear your name loud, it could be for you to turn around and have a look. Obviously obviously we've got this one programmed to listen to for the shout out of level 2. So this, as it sends this message, it goes across all sprites, even the backdrop and everything, and then it's saying if it's level 2, if 5, when you've got this, receive level 2, then it will obviously action this code. So I can then say duplicate. Wanted both of them, thank you. Duplicate. Now I've got more than I want. So it'll do that. When I receive level 2, right, go there. Then, right, so let's go start. Yeah, it starts off on the same level. Drives as best as it does. Right. Right, and then I can effectively drive. Then I know not to go down there because it's sucking me in. Oh. There's actually no condition for me losing time, but it's kind of a good test of. To be fair, I haven't done too badly for time, hit the edges and stuff, but oh, there, just destroyed my time. Now there's no code for anything like this, so I could put up a windscreen or something at this stage. I will do another map. With some actions in it, I think, because I think this is kind of it's got some cool bits, because this is something that students never tend to do, which is you know, it's a little bit, it's a bit of a waste really. But there we go. So let's do that. Okay. So then let's go to the bananas. I'll just basically duplicate all this code. If touching it equals 2, set to maze 2. So I'm going to duplicate. Do I even need to change the maze? I'll change the colour just so that we've got the. Okay. Oops. Backdrops. Let's go here. Right. Duplicate. Then let's see the fill colour. Fuchsia. Right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some enemy sprites that show up when level 3 kicks in. Sweet. Oh, I did not want to do that. Right, so let's go to the banana and code, and then go set level to 3. Add time. I'm going to say 30 seconds because it's so hard. Right, and then I'm going to add another sweet sprite. What's my sprite going to be? We got a. Oh, the bat will be fine. Right, it's huge, but we'll adjust this. Right. Thinking about there. Okay. Obviously, when I receive it, I'm going to say level new message level 3. Level 3. I can actually do it based on the variable, to be totally frank. Okay, when I receive this, I want it to go looks, hide to start, set size to, I'm going to say, 50% because it's just consistent. I'll take the hide out just so I can test the 50%. I want to take the hide out, thank you. Run. Still a bit big, I think. Goodness, that puppy is snoring. Right. Yeah, so it shouldn't show up great. Okay, so events. I'll have to have a separate one. It just runs that code for ages. Right. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'll put that receive. I'll put the receive level 3 because I'm going to use it anyway. When I receive level 3, we're going to say looks show motion start in that same location. Forever change Y by 10s real fast. Is it actually possible to get past in that map? I think I might have to amend that map. Yeah, it's impossible. Well done. Okay, sorry. We're gonna make it 3 because you can't really be it. You can't be slower than the thing. Oh, you can be. I'll put it as 5. We'll go from there. We can amend. We can amend. Don't worry. I'll tell you what's happening in a minute. All right. Change both there. Looks. Next costume. If sensing touching edge. Sensing touching edge, because we want it to kind of patrol an area effectively. Motion, we want to say can't change Y by 5. I'll say variable. I need to make a variable. Okay, variable. Make a variable called bat speed. Alright, set bat speed to 5. Then it's going to be travelling at bat speed. If touching edge, set bat speed to be bat speed times -1. That makes sense, eh? Yeah. So, current bat speed times by -1. Alrighty, let's hide the bat speed because we don't need to see that. Level, kind of, but not really all that important. And then we'll see how I've just made the level actually impossible. Well, actually, to be fair, the bat doesn't do anything, and then we run out of time, nothing happens, so I need to game over screen. We'll do that too, but okay there. And he's good. Ah, my bad. My bad. I hadn't set up any code. It said duplicate, yeah. Level 3. Bananas there. Duplicate broadcast level 3. Amateur. So yes, you know when the teacher tests mazes how he cheats. So we've got this bat now. That's effectively here, and the idea is that I'm supposed to try and nick past it. But and then that's your enemy patrolling the hallway. I might start it there, shrink it some more and get it to do this way at least, because then you can duck in. Yeah. Alrighty. So let's go. But yeah, I mean, I could make a dent in or something to do that. So let's just go amend the bat and then get it to change by Y, by X instead. Motions change X by change X by bat speed. Set size to 30%. Right, let's test this aggressively. Right there, there. Right, okay, bat's not high enough up. Well, the idea is that I sit here get ready for it to pass me without it touching, and I quickly got to run. And then to dodge that. Okay. So I need to obviously set this up a wee bit higher. Current wise 159. It's all good. Okay, so let's get involved with just kind of wrapping this up now. So player, obviously wait 1 second. Right. So then we'll have obviously a part in here that will say if if time is less than 1, which is there. Oops, variables. Okay, if time is less than 1, then I can effectively go backdrops. Let's do this properly. Let's paint one more backdrop. Square there, black. Right. Then game over, you lose. Right. Nice positive message. Duplicate that. Change the color because that's in you win. Well done. Right. Okay. So obviously we've got a lose and a win. Okay. So when I hit start, don't do that to me. I hit start. We've got something that sets us to the right costume here. If there, then we're going to say looks. Switch to backdrop. Lose. Control. Wait. 0.1 of a second. And then we'll just stop the game. Okay, there we go. And then the other one will be obviously the win screen, which is controlled by banana, which duplicate here if touching and equal to level 3 and touching a banana. We're not going to do any of that. We're basically going to say looks, switch to win, and then obviously wait for a fraction of a second to make sure the win screen has time to pop up, of course. That's why I'm doing that. And then stop all. Right, so I've got this. I don't know why I'm doing that one the long way, but who cares? That one was an easy one. Right, give them a false sense of confidence. Right, so what's happened here was obviously when I touched the bananas, the time touching the bananas and the overlap made them become an issue. So this is why we test these things, because you'll pick up these little bits and pieces. So I could leave the bananas in the exact same place, or I can shift them across somewhere else, just to avoid that. So let's click on our, okay, thank you, backdrops, backdrop, bananas. Effectively, I could have just shifted there, but let's go see if we can amend our code first. Code. So let's have a look in bananas. Right, I'm going to say this first. So I'm going to switch to broadcast this first. Switch to maze. This should say 3 actually. Maze 3. And I'm going to put a slight weight in here. This is these are this little annoying kind of things with scratch and timings. 0.1 of a second. But it should give the broadcast plenty of time to run now. So there, there. See, no issue now. Okay. And then what I can say is to this character here, green flag, because obviously I'll do something about the bat, because otherwise the bat's there and you're like, oh, or and then nothing happens. Forever if what am I doing? If touching bat, sorry, brain stalled. If sensing touching bat, just go back to the start, because that's pretty much as bad as like almost dying or losing a heap of time. Right. Then there's that. Okay, and the other thing that would make things slightly more difficult would be if in the mazes I get a box with an outline of black and a fill of nothing, and I have something on the edges. This should be good. Because effectively now I've got to be careful about not touching the edges. Oh god, that did work. Alright. Right, so that's pretty much the maze game finished actually. So yeah, we've got to win, we've got to lose, we've got condition with the enemy. This is the thing, you can totally have it that you could have a sprite drawn as one of the walls and have one of the walls moving. You could have it that there's an animation with like a little flame, and that the flame turns on or off on a timer interval, and you've got to kind of wait and cross and that kind of thing. So there's all those bits and pieces, you know, door opening, shutting, and then it's kind of, or it could be just like a sprite sliding along here on a set distance. You know, just move this much, then move back or what have you. And then you got to kind of go through the wall. Yeah, all those little bits and pieces. Some students tend to even put slightly different shades of the colour of the background. You got two paths that look like are both good paths, and then one's got that slightly different shade square, and then it gets you an issue. Or you've got to get through one thing, teleports you to another, collect keys, you know, all that jazz. So yeah, so that gives you an idea of how to do a pretty solid maze game, but obviously there's a bit of potential to build that up further. Righto, good luck lads.